All right, we're going to evaluate rational exponents. Bless you. Essential questions on the board, but it's how do I evaluate rational exponents? All right, let's talk about rational exponents. What does it mean to be a rational exponent? Someone's phone needs to turn to silent for me. Is it silent? No. Someone's phone, I hear it. Just flip it to silent. Rational exponents is the same thing as saying a fractional exponent. In other words, you have a fraction. Okay? So a rational exponent is the same thing as saying a fractional exponent. You will have a fraction. And we're going to talk about flower power. And then you're going to put your pencil down. All right, so some of you probably have really pretty gardens at home and whatever. The only thing that grows in my yard is weeds because I don't have a very green thumb. So in my yard, this is my ground, yeah? You're not drawing this yet. You're just going to listen to my funny story. Is the ground. And out of the ground is, you know, those like lovely dandelions that come out? Or those like yellow flowers? Yeah, they're really annoying. Okay. Everyone thinks, oh, they're so cute, but they're really weeds. All right, so here's this lovely, pretty yellow flower coming out of the ground, yeah? And here's the ground. But the flower has something at the bottom. What does it have? The roots. And those are really annoying things because you have to get them out, otherwise the weed just keeps coming back. So here's my weed. We're going to pretend it's really a flower, but it's the only flowers that exist in my house. And so here's the flower, and then here's the ground, and here's the root, right? Make sense? So it's going to relate back to my fractional exponent right now in a second. So my flower is what I consider to be the power. All right, hence the word flower power. The flower is the power. And the bottom, the roots, are, guess what? It's just the root. And we dealt with the root last week, and the root was considered to be n, whatever n was. Do you remember that? And what did I do with that root? So what it did was it took this, and it made this. And what it's going to do is the power goes on the outside. And your root, I'm going to put an N, but I'm also going to put the R. Okay? So R is for the word root here. And then the P is for the power. Make sense? So what it's doing is it's taking this fractional power. Oh, wait. What do you think the ground represents then? The fraction bar. Okay? So it's taking this fractional power, and it's making it into this here. Do you see it? So watch my fingers. It goes from here to here. From here to here. Do you understand? The root is on the bottom, but the root goes in the front. The power is on top, but the power goes in the back. Okay? So what it's going to do is your root is here, goes here, just like the radical root. The power is here, needs to go up here as the power. Make sense? In your homework, you're going to go from here to here, or from here to here. Do you understand that? So you're going to go both ways. I'm not going to go from here to here in your notes because that's just kind of pointless. But I am going to go from here to here in your notes. Got it? All right, write that down. Make your flower look pretty. Mine's just a weed. All right, so we're going to go straight to examples. We're going to start with 4 to the 5/2 power. Now, when you write your fraction, exponent, make sure it looks like a fraction, make sure it looks like an exponent. It needs to be small, and it needs to be up at the top. Yes? So make sure it looks small enough. Because what happens is I see people write 5/2, and it's like just as big as the fraction or the base. That's not right. We good? All right, we need to label our power and our root, so we know what part goes where. What's the 5? Power or root? Power. What's the bottom? Root. Good? Okay. Watch the magic. We put the radical sign. You can put the parentheses. Your base now is the inside, right? Your radicand. So base goes inside. Now, I went like this, and I did what? This. You remember that? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go from here to here. So in other words, what is my root going to be? It's going to be a 2. What's your power? 5. Okay? I know we don't normally put a 2 when we write the square root. But for fractional exponents, we're going to write the 2 because we don't want to forget. Now, some of you guys still are forgetting that when the root tells you how many to what? How many to circle. I had people do cubic roots and they only circled groups of 2. That's not right. It's based on your root. So my root is 2, so I'm going to do 2. Well, I should know the square root of 4, though. That's easy. What is the square root of 4? It's 2. You still have a power. What's the power? 5. What does it mean to be a power? Doesn't mean to multiply. It means you have how many 2's? 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to multiply that out. What's 2 times 2?
4.
And 2 times 2 again is 4. 4 times 4? 16 times 2? You're going across. Is that a question or an answer? 32 is the answer, yes. Okay? Make sense? A little bit? All right, so what I'm going to do right now is this. I'm going to give you another one. And what you're going to do only right now at this point, this is why you're sitting next to your partner so you can actually talk to them, because first period's like pulling teeth, and so is 0 period. So 125 to the 2/3 power. All I want you to do is rewrite it for right now. All I want you to do is rewrite it. Don't solve it, because if you rewrite it wrong, you solve it, it's going to be wrong. So rewrite it first, and then stop. And you're going to check with your partner, because that's why you're sitting next to them. You should be checking with the person you're sitting next to. That's why you're sitting next to them. You haven't solved yet because you're going to make sure you did it right. All right, ready? 2. What is your 2? It's your power. What's your 3? It's the root. Inside the radical is what number? What is your root on the outside? And what's your power on the other side? Good. We good? All right, now go solve it. Ready? What goes into 125? 5 and 25. What goes into 25? Good. Circling groups of how many? That is a group of 3, yes? Is there anything left over? No. Then I'm going to write what then? 5 to what power? To the second power. 5 squared is 25. We had an answer, 25. Good, you are correct. If you're not getting the answer 25, I don't know what to say. Because listen, this is the new part, yeah? This is review from when? Last week. This is review also from when? Last week. So the only new part is rewriting. Otherwise, the rest of it's all review. Correct? All you're doing is putting things together now. All right, I'm going to make it harder. Let's make it a little more challenging. It's pretty easy. M to the 5th, n to the 10th, to the 1/5 power. M to the 5th, n to the 10th, to the 1/5 power. Go all the way. You are not allowed to solve unless you rewrite it. If you do not rewrite it, you are wrong. No, you rewrote it. You're right. You have to rewrite it. If you do not rewrite it, you are wrong. All right. You have to rewrite it. The 1 is your what? Power. The 5 is your root. If you do not rewrite this, you are what?
Wrong.
You're wrong. You have to rewrite it. Got it? Okay. After you did this, you should have written out your n's. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circling groups of how many? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the outside is what I have my group of. What's your group? M. And? Is there anything left? That's your answer. Some of you were right. You do not get to go from here to here until you do this. Do you understand? Make sure it's groups of 5 because it was a 5th root. Good? All right. Because I like to confuse people. 9 to the negative 1/2. 9 to the negative 1/2. What do you have to remember first? Change it. Why? Why do you have to change it? Because you can't have a negative what? Exponent. So since I have a negative exponent, I need to do that first. So we need to get rid of the negative exponent first. I can write, I promise. Get rid of the negative exponent first. My R's. How do I get rid of a negative exponent first? Magic? Some of you do magic. How do we get rid of it? Not reciprocal, because if there was another number on the bottom, we wouldn't move it, right? So I don't like to say reciprocal, but I like to say if it's on the top, it needs to go where? To the bottom. And becomes what? Positive or negative? Positive. Now, because I have a fraction, yes, the 1 goes on top. So it does look like a reciprocal, but I don't want to use that word because if this was a 4, would you move the 4? You would not move the 4. Do you understand? So I don't want to say the word reciprocal. So we just move what's negative. So move it to the bottom. Now, are you exactly where you need to be? Yeah, you are. I'm still going to do the same thing. There's just going to be a 1 on top. Go. You're next to your partner, so you can check with your partner. That's the whole reason you're sitting next to them. 902. This is a little fast. 20. All right, let's rewrite it. What is the 1? What's the 1? Power. What's the 2? Root. So we put in the radical a 9. On the outside, the root is what? And the root and the power is what? Good. What's the square root of 9? Yes? Wonderful. All right. We're going to do one more. Negative 64 to the negative 2/3 power. Negative 64 to the negative 2/3 power. When you move the fraction, why is 64 becoming positive? No, I don't care that it's a negative. What becomes positive? Only your exponent. Your coefficient can stay negative forever and ever and ever. I don't really care. It's just the negative exponent. Starts like this, yes? Okay, we move. This whole thing goes to where? Goes to the bottom, but it stays negative 64. That has nothing to do with moving it. The only thing that becomes positive is to the 2/3. The 1 goes back on top. 2/3 is your positive exponent now. Your power is your 2, and your 3 is your root, correct? Okay. We get 1 over the cubic root of negative 64 to the second power. Yes? Okay. When I factor tree 64, what do I get? 2 and 32. What goes into 32? 2 and 16. 16. 4 and 4. And then 2, 2, and 2, 2. Circling groups of how many? 3. There's 1. There's 2. Anything left over? No. Do the 4s count? No. They have something coming out of them. They do not count. They are not prime. So now I have 1 over. There's a squared on the outside, correct? Okay. One of these has to be what? negative, because it was a negative. So negative 2 times 2. It's not really going to do a whole lot to my problem, but we need to make sure we knew there was a negative. What is negative 2 times 2? Negative 4. We square that, which is what? 16. So 1 over 16. Yes? Makes sense? A little bit. Okay, you're going to start your homework. Remember, in the beginning of the homework, you're going to rewrite only. Whether you're going from here to here or here to here, okay? It might not have the negative, so you might not have a fraction. But you're going to go backwards, whether it's radical to fraction or fraction to radical, okay? Your homework is on the board, but I'm going to write what you are doing for each one. It's the Algebra 2 book, which you will have to share because I don't think I have enough books. So grab one for you and your partner to share. You're going to do page 417. You're going to do numbers 8 through 14. You're only rewriting 8 through 14. You are not solving. Do you hear me? You can't solve them. They made them weird on purpose. There's no pairs, there's nothing. It's weird. Then you're going to do numbers 21 through 33. This is where you start to solve, like you did in your notes. Then you're going to do 75 to 82. It's going to be review because next week you have a test. Okay? So the numbers are on the board. It's rewrite, solve, and then review. The review is exponents. We good? Okay, don't just grab a book for you and your partner. Also grab one for like people next to you or behind you because that's nice. And that way I don't have all like 20 groups up. All right? I'm turning off the projector because the books are behind it. It's on the board. It's right there. All right, books are up here. Let's go. Get a book. Irene, you can go to the bathroom. Your phone needs to stay here. Okay. Sign out. Por favor. It's 9:09.